shit. Why is it I'm such a technology dunce? Alright, so we are meant to be live. Where's the chat that got to?
It's done. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yay!
Alright.
So we are meant to be live. Alright, so we are meant to be live.
Just need to unmute
Where's
both.
the chat? Yeah.
Alright, people. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Sorry,
Yeah, we are. Sorry. So just a little explanation. I was meant to be setting up the encoding software an hour beforehand because it causes me problems, and I managed to go live. And then everyone seems to be here, so I'm like, all right, we'll just start now. We'll do it an hour early, which is good for us because it means we can do it. So hello, everybody from...
Oh, we're in Lagos in Portugal.
We are in Portugal.
Yeah.
So we have had, yes, some travelling. We've done some travelling. We've done travelling. We've done a lot of travelling. Hello everybody. So firstly, as we always, can everyone hear us and see us? Everything okay? Yes, no, can you hear us and see us?
I think there's a lag.
There is a lag, there's always a lag.
We'll just assume that everyone
Yeah.
can see us.
Anyway, if you can't hear us or see us, then holla. So, what have we got to talk about?
Well, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about?
Ask any questions?
Yeah, let us know what you want to chat about. Okay, so let's say some hellos. So Alan Bull, hello. There's a lot of names there that I don't think I'll be able to pronounce.
Mario, Terry Bridge, James. Why can you not pronounce Mario? It's easy. Lost at sea, difficult.
I was looking at Dimitar Yosifov.
Dimitar. Everyone knows
Dimitar.
Dimitar. He's the man, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's the man.
James Bennett, hello.
Bruce.
Michael,
how was the passage? Passages.
Yeah,
we'll get onto that.
yeah,
we've got probably a lot to talk about. It was, Would you know we were literally just because we turned up on what day is it today? Sunday today. We arrived on Thursday, and literally it's been a whirlwind of activities because we're on a rally. We did the Yacht, so there's been like a few nights in the pub, getting the boat clean, getting the crew off. So yeah, we haven't really stopped. So today's the first time I've actually sat down to do some editing, and so we're just editing the moment stuff in the Bahamas. So we're quite way behind, aren't we?
Yeah. We didn't, as if you subscribe to our channel, you'd probably realise that we didn't put up our usual Friday video a couple of days ago, which we apologise for. But yeah, just 6 weeks at sea. It turns out I thought that we'd be able to do a lot of editing while we're sailing. It turns out that we both get really seasick when we're trying to edit. When we're sailing at the same time. So that unfortunately didn't really happen. So,
but what we have done, I've just literally, because we've got like 2 hard disks, 2 cameras, we were just collating all the footage. We have got a lot of stuff to show you.
Yeah.
A lot of really good stuff actually. So,
I'm excited about editing the
It's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I think the next, I would say 8 to 10 episodes are going to be, I think we're probably about 10 episodes, between 8 and 10 episodes behind. So it's been amazing. So again, a few hellos because everyone's popping up. Terry, hello. Hope St. Louis is amazing. I had a friend from St. Louis called Nick, who he ran a bar. Dallas Bob, hope you're from Dallas. Lasse, I'm not going to say Lassie, I'm going to say Lasse. Nick Garcia again. Dimitar, hello. Quickly, he says, did we like the Azores? We love the Azores. Hugh Van Duyn, James B, Captain Scurvy, aka Kevin. Just a quick thing, Kevin. If you're a guitarist and if you live in the US, can you email me? I think I may need to talk to that. Robert.
That's cryptic.
Philip, okay. So basically, I have a lot of credit with Musician's Friend. As in, I've got financial credit because I bought a guitar and I need to I need to use the credit up before August. So anyway. So Coop W. Did we check out a tag or ton catamaran? Brian, hello from work. Brian, I hope that you're not working too hard on this day of rest. Anyway, so Stu, hello. Joel, hello. Say my name. Joel Pullman. Say my name. Is that Beyonce?
I think it was Destiny's Child.
Okay, that's the same thing.
Same thing.
Beyonce minus 2.
Yeah.
So hello to you all. Anyway, what was I?
And also the other thing that we need to apologise for is that we were meant to be doing this in an hour's time, but someone got his wires.
Those
crossed,
who
I think.
do, no, I told you, I'm tired and I just pushed the wrong button. So rather than setting up the event, I just went live. So I'm sat there kind of like naked, just pushing buttons, looking at the damn thing, trying to eat a twizzle stick, and it's like, uh-oh, everyone's saying
We're
hello.
doing this.
Kevin, just send me a Facebook message. Or send the page of Facebook. Anyway, so a quick synopsis of.
Oh, Jeff from Charleston. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
We spent some time in Charleston last year. We loved it. It's an amazing place. Sailing SV Compromise. Hello. We're looking well, apparently.
So Ruben, he's Portuguese. So bom dia. Alex, I can say.
Yeah, that's the extent of our Portuguese for now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you got, Robert's trying to find something about lime pie. I'm trying to find the name of a place, but you are near the world's best lime pie. If that is the case, then I need to know about it. We've been eating, by the way, those Portuguese tarts. I don't know, for those of you who've not been to Portugal, although they're available fairly widely, aren't they?
Yeah.
Portuguese tarts.
Some of the Belgian beer doesn't just exist in Belgium.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we've been partaking in Portuguese tarts quite regularly, and they're bloody amazing.
So, quick synopsis of what we've done, and then we'll talk about it in depth because I think we've had so many questions about everything. So, so KRL Thumper, yeah. So we've because we're now in a different time zone, we're trying to bridge different spans. Anyway, so the first thing is we left. It took 6 weeks to get here. So from us leaving the Bahamas, it took about 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks, of which don't touch it.
I was just trying to stop the chat.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, it's got
Yep. So so it took about 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it took us 5 days to get from from the Bahamas to Bermuda. After that, we spent 5 beautiful days in Bermuda. Bermuda is absolutely amazing. One of the nicest places we've been. So that's the first thing. It then took us 16 days to do the next bit to the Azores, and then another 5 days in the Azores, and then 8 days to Portugal.
We've been doing a lot of sailing.
We have done a lot of sailing. We covered 3,700 nautical miles at an average of 5.1 knots. And yeah, so that was good. So that's a brief synopsis.
And I think that we worked out it was about 29 days at sea.
The 29 days, 29 nights at sea.
Yeah.
And for those of you who poo-poo our sailing, we sailed a lot of it. Not all of it. Kirk, thank you so much for buying us a beer.
Actually, that will go quite a few beers because beer's so cheap here.
But thank you anyway. We'll buy some beers. Anyway.
So,
okay. Yeah, so
there's some questions that someone asked, sorry, I can't see it right. Charles from South Carolina asked, did anything major break on the passage? I'm pleased to say no, it didn't.
We had a statistic from somewhere that the average cost of the boat damage on an Atlantic or an oceanic crossing is £7,000 or dollars. We broke one block, so we broke the cheek off of one of the blocks, so it cost us about $50. But we sail like old women. We really do. We're not fast. We don't race. We always take the weather and move away from anything that's above 25 knots.
Yeah.
So we're not into we're on the Ark Rally. So there was 29 boats did this, and the Ark stands for Atlantic Rally for cruisers. The R is contentious because it really is a race, and there's a lot of very big, very fast boats with very kind of muscly men and boys tearing the arse out of it. And we are not that. So anyway, we took a long time at sea. But if we wanted to get there faster, we'd fly.
Ruben says Portuguese tarts are everything. They really, really are.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're pretty damn nice.
Lost at Sea says, what do the Ark cost you? I think
depends on the rally, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you can get the prices on their website. If you just Google World Cruising, or if you type in, I think it's worldcruising.com, then I think that the prices are available.
But it depends on the size of the boat and the number of crew you've got and all sorts of other bits and bobs. So it's not. There's no fixed price for it.
And it's good value. It's good. Well, I think it's good value. I don't think that it's astronomical at all. So yeah. Okay. Traveller TV sailing on a shoestring says hi from Dartmouth. Dartmouth is a lovely place.
So again, thank you, Kirk, for the bit of money. Thank you, Rach. So, sailing SV compromise. Are we guys going to the Med? Are we guys, you guys? Yes, we are. So this is the vague plan. Obviously, we kind of fannied around last year. We did not know what we were doing.
I'm not sure we know what we're doing yet.
Well, we don't. But there's a couple of things that I will probably point out about us and the boat, and a few other bits and bobs that kind of like we wanted to talk to you about. We are going into the Med. So our season now, because obviously the Caribbean season runs December to June. The European season runs May to November, December, so we have a different season now. So we've actually got most of the season ahead of us, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to take about a month off just to go and see family who kind of want to know what the hell we've been up to.
And haven't seen us in a while.
Yeah, haven't seen us a long while. And then from there, we're going to come back and start cruising into the Mediterranean. We'll get a little bit past it. There's loads of things we want to see. We are really, really into food. So that means that we're going to dine extensively. So look at me now, see me in 6 months' time, I'll be a little bit more puffy.
It's true.
Adio says, "Is our boat VAT registered?" Yes, it is. We paid the VAT on it, and we know that we have to move within 3 years. So thank you very much. Captain Scurvy, Kevin says, "How is the local beer?" It is Sagres, and it's very good. I am very fond and keen and used to Portuguese beer, so very, very nice. There's no ale though.
Aid says, we're in Portugal, are you guys? We're in Lagos. My wife and I are planning a long-term Mediterranean tour. We go for any recommendations. Well, we have actually sailed the Algarve before, because when we left the UK, we sailed down in this direction en route to the Canaries. And so it's actually really nice being somewhere that we've been to before. It's something that I don't think we've done that yet since we left. So yeah, it's awesome kind of going over familiar ground, I guess. But the next place we're going to go to is an anchorage about 5 miles away called Alvor. Okay. And that is one of the highlights on the Algarve. So yeah, Alvor.
Flippity doop's back. Flippity doop. There's a couple of Dutch boats here, so we'd like to do. So just to catch up some questions because they're scrolling really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Bob, yes, we have already crossed. This is why we're here. Bruce asks, "What is the VAT issue, please?" It's in a nutshell. You can theoretically buy a boat anywhere in the European Union and not pay the VAT on it, which in the UK gives you 20% off. But if you haven't paid that VAT, when you bring it back in, you have to pay the VAT. So there's a way of getting a boat cheaply, but it's a nightmare if you stuff it up. We paid the VAT because we wanted to sail in the UK, so we didn't get that choice. So that's a nutshell what the VAT issue is. Floopy-de-doop, we are very well.
Terribly British said, is Tuesday coming back?
Technical Tuesday is coming back. So firstly, I need your suggestions as to what to do. Secondly, regarding Technical Tuesday, we've got a couple of issues, a couple of episodes that we've already got lined up. One is it's going to be autopilot versus self-steer because so many people asked for that. So we're going to get that one done. And then there's a few others. So yeah, we'll get all that done and get back to you at some point over the next couple of 3 weeks. But we've been busy for the last 6. So at some point, we'll get back to you. I'm just going to have a quick chat with Mark. Wonderful. Anyway.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Medwater versus Caribbean. Most of us don't look at you. Okay, got it. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is one of the things that we are pretty bloody excited about being in the Med now. The Caribbean was awesome. The Bahamas was just magical. But yeah, kind of we're in a completely different part of the world. It's a very, very different cruising ground. So we're excited to discover it because we've never sailed the Med before, despite kind of being in fairly close proximity to it for a while. We've got 2 from Adelaide. Hello to my fellow people from Adelaide, Adelaideans, if that's a word. So yeah, glad you could join us.
So sailing the SV Compromise, if you haven't picked this up, yes, there's apparently there's 190 people watching already and only 37 thumbs up. So can we please all get the thumbs up?
Yeah, we'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyway, that brings me briefly onto it's a web chat is never going to be a web chat without me moaning about something. So my moan, it's something that someone said about Patreon. We are still not doing Patreon. We have talked about doing Patreon. We said we weren't going to do it for the time being last year. We are still probably not going to do it in the next couple of, I don't know, say 6 months. But things are changing, and what is changing is YouTube is just really busting my hump, or our humps plural,
Sure.
over censorship. So if those of you who haven't watched our video, we put a video out on the 1st of June called "What's It Really Like to Live on a Boat," which we do. I think we're going to do every year now because so many people want to know what it's like, and it's kind of like
It's like a day in our life.
it's a day in our lives.
Yeah.
So basically,
like a typical day in our life.
it's, as you know, we no longer swear, we no longer do everything. But 3 days after it gets put up, we completely demonetise. They threw us off of YouTube, and they're like, "Sorry, this is not suitable."
They threw us off of YouTube.
They threw that. They actually they didn't even limit the monetisation. They actually completely removed it, and gave us a warning that it was inappropriate content. And then they give you this big spiel about what the inappropriate content is, and it's literally because one of us or both of us was in swimming costume. So it's got to the point now where we live on a boat, and because I hate the cold, we're going to be in swimming costumes, but things may change. So we may, as many other creators are doing, have to look to across different platforms. I don't think moving platforms is a way, because but I'm just so fed up with YouTube at the moment, just continually demonetizing stuff. So unless you want to see me and Therese in full burqa, we will, which is obviously a little bit niche. So yeah, that's my moan. That's my moan for now.
All right.
But you should always counter a moan with an anti-moan. And my anti-moan is to do with something that you've all again asked for, especially the Americans, is koozie holders. We have now finally got koozie holders. They will be up on our website hopefully within the next week. So if you want koozie holders and stickers, they are now going to be available. And we're going to put some offer together so that you kind of can get koozie holders for free in some way or other.
Okay, so John asks a very good question, which is, what Mediterranean cruising destination are you looking forward to the most? I don't know, that's a really tough one. I think that for me you go first, as I think I was about to take your answer.
I'm actually, to tell you that I'm very fond of sailing the French coasts. The French Atlantic coast was amazing. I was going
to say sailing into Greece.
Sailing into Greece is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I have a slight question over the bureaucracy of the Greeks and their bullshit. But so yeah, just generally, it's a different cruising ground. The distances we have to sail are far less. The Mediterranean compared to the Atlantic is obviously quite small, and a lot of it's day sailing, and the weather is slightly more predictable in season. So in high season, it's like this in Portugal. We got in on Thursday, and since then we haven't seen a cloud. Literally, it's all blue sky. You never get that in the Caribbean. So.
Well, anyway, I was about to say probably Sicily is the destination that I'm looking forward to the most.
It's going to be pretty amazing. It is going to be.
So you don't have any one place?
No, not really. Who's just giving us beer money? Whoever that was, thank you very much. So I need to scroll up. Who's this? Floop-a-da-doop. Anti-moan right here. There you go. Oh, that's a good answer.
Race Play says, what does it cost for a berth rental there? The cost of marinas in Europe really varies hugely. But I mean, where we are at the moment isn't too expensive. I can't remember how much it's.
This is about one of the more expensive marinas. It's about €30, so $35 a night.
Yeah.
Cheaper than the States by a long chalk. But we found marinas at €9 a night. So about $10-11 a night. And that's for pontoon, like water. Water's also free, electricity's free here, and internet's free.
And the marina in Horta that we went to in the Azores, that was €10 a night.
Yeah.
So
pretty amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Another one from Adelaide. Brian, hello. Wow, didn't realise that so many people from Adelaide are up at midnight watching us.
We're going to be in Adelaide, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
So if we have enough people, we may try and get a meet-up done in Adelaide. We're going to be in Adelaide for Christmas. This year. So if there's enough interest, we'll try and find a suitable bar.
Yeah.
And we'll buy you all a beer.
There are many suitable bars in Adelaide.
Many suitable bars.
Many suitable bars.
So that's good. So let's have a little shift to what else we got.
There's some amazing nude beaches nearby.
Excellent. I'll whip out the beast and off we go.
Good night from Melbourne, says David. Good night. Yes, I know it's quite late.
Oh,
there,
Simon
so.
Taylor. Yeah. Okay, so So Simon, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of you who are fathers.
Yes.
And happy Father's Day to all of you who aren't fathers.
It's not Father's Day in Australia though, so.
All right. All right. So look. Oh shit. Daddy. Okay. So hi from South Africa. Hello, South Africa. Portugal is expensive and Greece is free. Yeah, it probably is in different ways. So Bruce177 is a very good question. Says, do you have any recommendations for the best areas to look for buying a boat? UK, Europe, or further afield? I really think, Bruce, that it depends on a couple of things. Assuming that you're looking for a used boat, my suggestion would be work out where your cruising ground is going to be and buy there. And so, for instance, if you intend to cruise, say you want to cruise France, but you want to buy in Greece, there's no great problem there. But if you want to cruise the Caribbean, look to buy in the Caribbean, because getting the boat across the Atlantic is a pain in the backside. So Florida's got some good boats. Grenada's got some amazing boats. We have our friends that bought in Grenada recently. Yep. English speaking, good surveyors there, big yacht markets. So that's not too difficult to do. European boat market is probably a little bit more depressed than the Caribbean boat market at the moment, unfortunately, because of Irma. Things like catamaran prices are at a premium at the moment because there's just a huge loss and destruction of boats. So we've heard that catamarans are quite high in price, so there's some variance there. So I hope that answers your question. There you go. Cool. Wakushi Pilot. Please hit the thumbs up, it's free, yes. Hi from Sarasota. The Lion in North Adelaide. Have we been there, babe?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the line. That's a bit of a...
Ian White. Sitting in the Spanish marina right now, €10 a night is very cheap. Spain is expensive.
Yeah, mind you, it depends where in Spain you are. If you're in the Mediterranean, it's probably way more expensive than like northwest Spain, which is where we went to, where the Rias are. That's not expensive.
Easterling says, "Have you ever sailed naked?"
No comment.
No, I think basically, however many people are watching this, how many people think I've sailed naked? I'm just going to get a straw poll. Yes or no, and see how many people say yes and how many people know. See if they know what we're really like. See if we are the prudes that we think they could be, that they think we could be, or whether we are as laid back and liberal as we would let ourselves believe that we are. So, have I sailed naked or not? There you go. Answers not even on a postcard, just answers down below. And while I'm waiting for all those answers, because it's only yes or no, let's have a look. Studio number 1 is, are you planning to visit Denia in Spain? Don't know. So Flippy the Duke.
The Costa Blanca.
Yeah. Are we going to be in Annapolis this October? Not sure. The problem that we have is that I love Annapolis. Annapolis last year was amazing. I don't remember the last part of the weekend, but the bit that
the bit that he does remember.
It was amazing. The problem is that for us to get from here to Annapolis the round trip is about a week, and it bites massively into the end of our sailing season. So it's one or the other. Yeah. So I don't know. We would absolutely love to come to Annapolis. It's pretty amazing. And
but we also want to sail for as long as possible.
And we want to look at boats as well, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So Mike Steele says.
Oh, hang on. There's a lot of yeses there.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think that the obvious answer.
This is why I love this family of ours. So here's another thing. While I've got this on my mind, because now.
And you're right. By the way.
Yes. Like Delos call their thing the tribe, don't they?
Yeah.
For the tribe. I'm not sure what everyone else does. And I don't really know what to call you all. Like, you're just family to me. You're like just a big, awesome family of kind of cousins that I never see, and you turn up.
Cousins that I never see.
Well, they are family, aren't they? We can't call them family. It's a bit like weird and incestuous. But I kind of. Anyone got any suggestions for a name that's clean that we can use for you all, rather than just our family? Anyway. So, Philip S. East says, I know you like coffee. If you have a PO address, I roast green beans and I'll post you some.
Oh,
Please do not post us coffee beans. No, let me just quantify. It's a very, very, very kind offer. However, drug smugglers use coffee to mask the smell of drugs. So if you start saying it's coffee beans, like customs are going to be knocking on the boat going, hey, do you want a coffee? Anyway, but
I'm sure there's plenty of people who post coffee beans.
Really? Okay.
Perfectly sensible.
SVP China to watch the World Cup. Okay, so the thing about the World Cup is My father is Italian, my mother is English. My mother never has ever watched football in her life. My father has always watched football, so I support Italy in football, in international football matches. Italy didn't bloody qualify, did they? Because they're a shit show. So I have no interest in World Cup at all. There you go. So Brian, I think we've answered that. We're not sure about Annapolis. We would love to be there. We'd absolutely love to be there, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. Studio number 1.
And yes, someone has just said, where are you guys? I'm confused. We're in Portugal. We've just crossed the Atlantic. We got in like 3 days ago.
So studio number 1, just to cover it, he or she asks, will there be Atlantic crossing videos? Yes, there's going to be lots of them, because we have a lot of footage. Yes, I'm naked, yes. Someone's asking about your day skipper.
Yeah, well, I've been at sea for the last 6 weeks, and I need the internet for my day skipper, so it's taken a hiatus, but now that we're back in the land of interwebs, then I'll get back onto it. It's good. It's going a long way.
So, I told you we'll talk about the crossing in a bit, if that's okay. Just hang on. The Ruby Rabble. Yeah. We'll think about that.
That's actually quite good. Rabble.
No. Anyway, without a doubt, the med. Can we just look at some questions? So I'm just being gems. That's it, gems. That's clever.
Yeah.
That is clever. Gems and flowers. You can be either. Sounds like
camp.
Sounds like it is a bit camp, isn't it? A gem or a flower?
Hello, little flowers.
Did someone say next wankers? No, we can't do that. We get banned. We're getting banned for everything. Okay.
I think everyone wants to know how the crossing was.
All right, so the crossing. So basically 3 legs. First leg, the Bahamas to Bermuda. Literally, it's nice. I was just editing it today, and we all sat there in the pub, strangely enough, talking about what we expected from the crossing of the first leg. And we had like weather reports that said, oh, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have like 20 knots maximum at one point, and then it's going to be 10 to 15 knots downwind or kind of off the aft quarter. Should be a lovely sail. Shocking. It was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. We left with 5 other boats. We always, when we know that there's a long passage, we always try and find buddy boats. So there were 5 other boats going to Bermuda. 1 boat, circumnavigators. So they knew what they were doing, and we had a bloody shocking time. We didn't get our asses handed to us, but it was, at times, it was difficult. It was fast. We did 750 miles in 5 days.
I think we averaged like 6.3
6.something knots.
I think.
But it was rolly as hell, and it wasn't just. It was kind of like there was a chop. There was a really bad chop.
Well, it was all on the beam, so it was all like really uncomfortable. But you know that's sailing for you. It wasn't the whole time. The last day was actually really good, but I think we were so over it by then that we just wanted to get into the
Yeah, we were, and it rained. It rained almost like torrential bloody rain.
Yeah.
Like literally, it just rained. Everything was soaking wet. So it rained very, very heavily. There was a lot of slop. I mean, I spent the 5 days. The first 3 days, I just felt nauseous.
Yeah.
Like really nauseous. For those of you who kind of, I know that we have a lot of our gems that don't sail or haven't sailed long distances and are worried about seasickness. Seasickness to me has never been, well, it has been before, like I'm going to be sick and then you throw up. Like that passed many moons ago, like where you actually throw up. But the early stages of seasickness are, I get them all the time. So the first couple of days in rough weather, I'm really lethargic, like really lethargic. I can't be bothered. I'm lethargic and really sleepy, and I just can't be bothered to do anything. And then my appetite is all over the place. I remember saying to our crew, he's like, do you want something to eat? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to eat crackers. And the problem is that as soon as you don't eat, or as soon as your stomach's not full, you get more seasick. So you have to sit there and kind of force feed yourself stuff. I remember talking to, when I was doing the delivery trip for this boat, I had a friend of mine who'd never really sailed. And literally in the pub the night before, we get out into the Solent and he's throwing up all over the place. And he was an older chap. And I remember saying to him, you've got to eat. You've got to eat, just eat this piece of bread. And he's like, no, I ain't eating that bread. I feel sick, I'm going to throw up. I goes, look mate, you don't eat the bread, you're going to be sick again. Eventually he ate the bread and within an hour he felt better. So one of the kind of go-to things that I keep on the boat are cream crackers, which are sort of Americans. Anyway, so the first thing was noisy, and the second thing, this is the thing that kind of really, it still makes me feel a little bit sick actually. I put myself off fishing. So
Yeah.
we left the Bahamas in probably about 11 o'clock in the morning. Went through the cut, and to try and distract myself from this horrible roll, I thought I'm going to put the line out. We'll see if we can catch a fish, not thinking like it's going to stink and everything. Anyway, we caught this beautiful mahi and had it on the back deck, and sitting there thinking, oh, what a beautiful mahi. So I thought, well, we'll eat this later. I'll fillet it, and anyway, went to gut the thing. So we kind of like, and that filleting knife is very sharp. Went to gut it, opened its intestines, and literally the entire cavity was full of worms, like really long yellow worms, and they were wriggling around. And I'm like, oh boy, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. And like literally, I'm like, okay, that really hasn't my hands. So we canned it. We just threw it over the side.
Yeah, we weren't.
So since then, like we've obviously 3,500 miles and 6 weeks at sea. There's a scope for a lot of fishing. I just couldn't face it. The thought of it just really turned my stomach.
You're a precious little flower, aren't you?
I'm a little flower. Anyway,
there's a question just before asking about our time in Bermuda. How long we spent in Bermuda? We spent I think 5 or 6 days there in the end, and I have to say Bermuda. You'll see the videos within the next month. Bermuda was, I think, one of our all-time favourite places that we've ever been to. It was just, I don't know, sometimes you go somewhere and you're just in the right frame of mind to like really, really appreciate that place. I don't know whether it was just because we were so grateful to be there and we're so excited about kind of having done the first leg of our crossing and having this, you know, a lot more sailing to come. So I don't know whether it was that or whether Bermuda really is just truly magical.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful.
But we really enjoyed Bermuda, so yeah, we're there for 5 days.
And so, okay, so the other thing about Bermuda is we had a lot of our friends and fans turn up, and someone bought me Bovril.
Yeah, the Bermuda. Okay,
someone in Bermuda bought me Bovril. Whoever it was, I can't remember your name. Thank you so much.
And the other thing that stands out about Bermuda, the Bermudians are just ridiculously friendly. I really feel like they're probably the friendliest people that we've ever come across.
Apart from all of this lot on the internet.
No, I like country-wise. Yeah. Like, you know, you'd walk down the street and literally everyone that you walk past, they would say hello, good morning, how are you? It was just crazy how friendly everyone was. And our lovely followers who live in Bermuda, we're only there for 5 days. Bermuda isn't a big country, and we had quite a few people hunt us down and you know, give us rum and Bovril.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So there's 3 questions in a row that I won't answer. So Mikhail, 2 to 3 day passages seem to be the worst for people prone to sea sickness. It's absolutely true. You get your sea legs after 3 days and then you're fine. So yes. Bruce says, how about ginger for seasickness? Yeah, we have ginger sweets, ginger everything, ginger tea. It helps to a certain extent, but everyone has the point at which they're like, I can't deal with this anymore. Brings on to the 3rd question from John Edward Welander O'Keefe. That's a big old name, isn't it? How did our crew hold up on the trip, and where did he leave you? He left us yesterday. This is one of my oldest and dearest friends, Shina, who has sailed since he was a boy, so he sailed a while. He was born in Bermuda and really wanted to do the trip. He wanted to sail into Bermuda and out of Bermuda, so he was like perfect. He was very happy to come to do so. He is perfect crew. Like literally, he was with us for 6 weeks. He keeps himself to himself, keeps tidy, can sail, never needs to be told, you know, or asked to do anything differently. He just knows how to sail better than we do. So he was fantastic. But even he, a couple of 3 days ago, was like, I'm miserable. I just can't deal with this anymore. So that was the 3rd leg. But let's talk about leg 2.
Yes, all right then. Bermuda to Porto in the Azores. It was 16 days.
16 days.
And we did just shy of 2,000 miles, 1,900 something miles. We averaged 5.1 knots. I think we averaged 5.1 knots for each of our legs, actually.
Yeah. No, the first one we had to...
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, you're quite right. So, yeah, we averaged 5 knots. And for the most part, it was good. I would say probably 3/4 of it was good. It was a very slow crossing. We obviously, our speeds were pretty slow. We had to motor a lot of it because we didn't have enough wind to sail. And we had pretty much every point of sail, every sailing condition, every weather condition that you can possibly think of, apart from like the really, really like extreme kind of gale force situations. Had we gone further north with the rest of the rally, we would have encountered those conditions, but we chose to stay further south, which probably added at least a day or two onto our crossing. But we made the decision that that's what we preferred to do. We're very glad that we took the southern route, which kept us out of the way of the gales, but in the area of light winds. Because when we got in, we spoke to some of our friends who did the rally, and they went north, and they had an absolutely miserable time with like 10-meter seas, 40-knot winds, just horrible, really unpleasant conditions. So we didn't encounter any of that. We had probably, I think the strongest winds we saw were about 28 knots. I saw 28 knots.
It was a 30 something, but it was just a gust.
It was a gust. And we had probably like 3.5 meter seas on a couple of occasions. So, but then, that didn't last long. Neither of those times that we had stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to someone about this yesterday, because obviously we dissect the rally, and we've all been across the same thing. And one thing that I don't really have many concerns about ocean crossing. The one concern that I have is that you're going to get some weather system that is so out of the ordinary that you aren't prepared for it. We have something called the Atlantic Crossing Guide, which is like a big folio, and it shows you the chart of the Atlantic, but also shows you like percentage chance of gales in a certain region, in a certain latitude and longitude, in a certain coordinates for May or June or for any month of the year. And I think it's got the record since 1953. If you look at our track, there was one point in our track where we just went south, I think for about a day. Literally, we just headed south, and someone asked us, like, why are you going south? There was a gale heading our way. There was actually a gale, and we looked at the book, and since 1950, there's never been a gale ever recorded. So there are sort of like extreme weather events, and that's what worries me. Like if you're suddenly going to get caught out, and you're like, oh boy. But this boat's an amazing boat. She handles things so well. She's sturdy. She's not a light displacement boat, and some of the lighter boats got an absolute shoeing. So we absolutely love the boat. So that was good. And then we ended up in the Azores, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
The weather wasn't amazing.
The weather was it was cold and rainy. I personally didn't mind the cold and wet, because we were in a marina. The marina was very comfortable. We were well protected. We were in Portugal, which was pretty exciting, and we were in really good spirits actually. So the weather didn't really kind of put much of a damper on things, but it was it wasn't kind of European summer weather.
And then someone said, did we stay with? No, we don't stay with other boats. We are such a small boat.
What was the question?
So who is it there? Pippa says, did we stay with the other boats? No. I think there was a 34-foot boat, a 37-foot boat, and a 38-foot boat. That's us. Everyone else is up to 60, 70 foot. They just they go, and they're races as well. So they just So.
Well, some of them are races, some of them are cruises, but just
we were last. But we're happy being last.
Yeah, well, not much you can do about when you're in 38 foot.
So that was leg 2. Leg 3, which was the Azores to here, that was a funny leg. It took us 8 days, and the weather was bloody awful, and I mean awful. Literally, it was high winds and swell for 7 days and 20 hours. It took us 8 days almost to the day. So it was grey, it was rainy, there was this crazy swell. Literally, there's waves coming over the bloody deck every 10 minutes. None of us were sleeping properly. Literally, we actually ended up having to sleep sideways, athwartship on our mattress. And like the last 2 nights, like a wave had hit you, pick you up and deposit you 6 inches down the mattress. So it was just awful. And even, as I said, our crew Shiny got to the point it's like, I am just not happy. We were, eating out of plastic bowls and just trying to heat up like ravioli or something, beans, just to kind of get sustenance down our necks. It was hard, and literally we got to, was it called the last cape?
Cape Trafalgar.
Cape Trafalgar. At about, I don't know, it was about, I came off watch at about 9 o'clock in the morning local time, and I'd been up since 6, and it was the same as the weather we'd had for 8 days. It was grey and wet and bloody cold. We got down to 12 degrees Celsius at one point, and then we got round the Cape, the wind died off to nothing, and the sun came out, and we haven't seen a cloud since. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So we came in and tied up in this bright sunshine, but the weather was not brilliant.
Well,
It wasn't terrible, it wasn't appalling. Stuart, thank you very much. Rosy Rose Buds, that's nice actually. Buds. Yeah, I like that. That is good because it's got
yeah,
the
the
double
double
thing.
meaning.
Triple meaning.
Yeah.
Bud, friend, bud, flower, bud,
Light.
light.
Oh, there's Bud Light.
There is a Bud Light, I mean that. Jeremy says, did we get any video of the big swells? At this point I should start winking to camera, but it's almost impossible to video swell. We've tried. You can't. It's very difficult to work out how bad it is. I was looking at some of the footage, showing just me. I was just laying on the bed, just filming the cooker, just swaying like that on its gimbals, like back and forth, and it's like, yeah, this is fairly rough.
Yeah, if you point the camera at the water, you can't see the wave height. You have to either have another boat standing next to you, or you need to find a creative way of showing the swell.
Kelly McCoy says, off the track question, my wife is type 2 diabetic. It's hard to find good medical. Is it hard to find good medicine for her needs? In the 3 years that we've been gone, we have never had a problem finding any sort of healthcare. Europe is easy. Europe is, if you're a European citizen, you have an E111 card. Make sure you get those before we leave, if you're British, before we leave the Euro, in case you lose that. So that's the first thing. In the Caribbean, I got a blocked ear kite surfing, and had to go and find medical care in St Lucia. So I was deaf, and they were brilliant. So we've never had a problem. The other thing is, where before we left, I went to a doctor and said, we're leaving to go offshore. This is what our plan is. I would like A, B, C, D, and E, and those things were things like antibiotics, strong painkillers, and he prescribed on a private prescription to relieve in the UK. So you can get a 6-month. You should, with a good doctor, be able to get a 6-month supply of medicine. So, but you may have to pay privately for it. Although a lot of private prescriptions are a lot cheaper than NHS prescriptions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. Anyway, so let's have a look. All right, we're good. Did we get any videos of the big swells? That's good. Cheers from New York. It's 90 degrees in the basement. 90 in New York. Bloody hell, it was like 20 the other day. Rena says, how do you overcome the fear when you're in bad weather? I suppose the thing is, it's strange. Like the first Atlantic crossing that we did, I remember getting up in the middle of the night to come on watch and putting my life jacket on in the heads and having to suppress a bit of a freak out. Because I'm like, what are you doing, you flaming idiot? You're 1,500 miles from rescue.
You're flaming galore.
You're flaming fool. You're some tomfool idea. Anyway, and then so 1,500 miles from rescue, I'm floating around in 12 meters of plastic, and what are you doing? This crossing, I had no worry at all about because we've done it all, and it's not knowing that kind of causes you apprehension. When the weather gets rough, the thing is, it's strange. You can't get off the boat. You're stuck with it. So you just get your head down and you go into robot mode. That's it. You just go into I've got to get on with it. There's no point in overanalyzing this. I can't do much about my situation. Can't get off. Just do what you need to do. Sleep when you need to sleep. Eat when you need to eat. And you just turn into a machine. And the machine is nutrition, sleep, so that you can be an effective member to keep this thing going. Because as soon as there's something you can do. There's no point in throwing a fit or getting scared. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. So I think once you realise there's nothing I can do about it, and that fear, it sounds like some sort of like Zen discussion. Once you realise that fear doesn't help you, that isn't it?
I think also having faith in your boat is the most important thing. I mean, if you have faith in your boat and the boat can handle it, then there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just unpleasant, or you might feel sick, but there's nothing to actually fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we've used the GoPro for a few things. So Kevin asked if we used the GoPro for to the whisker pole. We have done that before. We didn't do it this time because I think it was so rough on deck, or there was a lot of swell and the deck was wet. We kind of had a standing rule that no one goes on deck unless you have to. So, Showdown, you're a mean-spirited individual, but your message has been blocked, so well done, sir. So Kurt asks, what's the weather forecast for the crossing this way? I think the weather forecast for the crossing, especially the last two legs, was absolutely perfect. Literally, it was uncannily good. So we knew that the weather was coming in. So there's nothing you can do about it. If you're 1,000 miles, you can't go on when you're back to port. You just deal with it. You reef down hard. You try and get out of the way. And you can get a really good, accurate forecast of big weather systems about 5 days away. So if you've got like a big low swinging in, you think, well, I can do, we could do 150 miles a day. 5 days, that's 750 miles. We can get a long way from weather system.
I feel like it's important to point out that probably 90% of the sailing we've done over the last 6 weeks has been in pretty calm conditions.
Yeah.
It's just been the occasional system that's come through.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think that, a lot of, it tends to be that when people get into port, they focus on, the
Negative.
less than pleasant times. But, that's all, that when the sailing's lovely, there's nothing to talk about. You're just like, yeah, it was good. Yeah. So people tend to talk about how big the swell was or how windy it got, but that doesn't actually properly represent the overall experience.
So all the questions. Jim Richards, hello, nice to see you again. What next? We're going to cruise the Med for a period of time. Why me? Asks, do we have rescue insurance? No, I don't think we do. I don't think you need insurance.
Repatriation insurance.
Oh, we have medical insurance, that is rescue insurance.
Like, as in,
Maritime law states,
Yeah.
well, maritime law, but also the ethics of being a human being. Basically, if someone needs rescuing at sea, you do everything you can to help them.
yeah.
You don't go, oh,
I don't
someone
think,
else.
like, the Coast Guard, they don't charge you, do they?
Your insurance, your insurance would do it.
Okay. Fear is the mind killer. Yeah. Okay, cool. So a few people have had to go to bed. I think that they're in
Good night,
Australia,
all.
so good night.
Showdown says, get a life. We've got a life, you crazy fool. This is what we're doing. Showdown, listen. I know that you're writing lots of rude comments, and you obviously spell check this because you're spelling properly, which is nice for you. But listen, this is our life. We're trying to inspire people to do this. So you with your naughty little words, I have words that would make your testicles shrivel like raisins. My vocabulary is far more extensive and ruder than yours. So this is our life, and we're trying to inspire people. Keep up with the comments, I'll ban you, you're fucked. Anyway, ever been in a storm without rudders? Ask Grin Sick. We have 3 rudders. We have a twin-ruddered boat, and we have a 3rd rudder on our hydrovan, so no, we haven't. Ken asks,
Oh, have you considered travelling by canal from the Med to the North Sea? I love how.
yep, we consider it.
I love how you point to me. Because
No, but we have.
Yeah, we have, but also, like, really, I'm the kind of decision maker in terms of our route 90% of the time. I know.
You are.
I know.
You have roles.
I know.
I'm your little cabin bit.
Yes, that would be awesome. But I think that one thing that we would like to do is the French canals. So that the canal that we would look at is the Canal du Midi, which goes from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic side of France.
Mm-hmm.
There is a canal system that takes you all over Europe, but I don't think that I'd do that because once you're in the system, but once you're in the canal system, you can't just be like, oh, I'm over this now, let's stop. You either go back the way you came or you carry on. It's quite the commitment, and I'm not sure that I can do with all that.
John asks, he says, very nice actually, he says, I've bought all of your clothing choices available. That's a lot of choices. Well done. Love the quality. Would you consider developing and offering a great quality cloth or canvas shopping bag?
Yes.
If there's enough demand, we would.
No, I want to. I've thought about this.
Okay, we'll talk to our designer.
Yeah.
All I would say, John, is that hopefully within the next week we will have our koozie holders and stickers on the website. We've been trying for a long while to get those done, and it was only put up by the fact we had to cross the Atlantic.
Mitch says, while you're in Europe, show us some of the Baltic in addition to the Med. Well,
Don't be cold.
yeah. Also, the Baltic is a long way from the Med, so we'll be in the Med for several years probably, and then after that, who knows?
Actually, do you know what? John has made another very good point. Actually, John Edward Boylander O'Keefe. I'm going to call you John now because I don't have enough. I bit my tongue the other day and it's hard work. Actually, from the point of view of not using of recycling and using cloth bags, because we're really into recycling. We try to not ever use plastic as often as possible. We always buy recycled bags, but maybe we should talk to our girl about that.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. So, what's your first stop in the Med? Well, it'll be Gibraltar, because that is the first stop in
It's
the Med.
actually not the Med.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. You want to get the chart out and have a look?
You win.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. What's your favourite sea shanty song? And I dare you to sing one for us.
What would you do with it? No, actually, let's do something. Do you know what?
That's the only one I know what you're about to sing.
It's Drunken Sailor.
Yeah.
Shiner knew them all. Shiner, he actually had an iPod with sea shanties on.
Yeah.
So, is it humid on the lens? I did think, hang on, let me just get the lens a little wipe. It just remember a dirty little fingerprint. That may be slightly better.
What was your favourite port of call on Run?
On Run?
Do you mean like for the last... What? I'll answer the question. Well, we've already said that Bermuda, I think, most recently has been a favourite, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, I've cleaned the lens. It's now.
Oh wow, people can see us.
Yeah.
We should have done that an hour ago.
Okay, so Brian asked a question which I think is really important, and I think it's something that we're going to talk about, and another little announcement.
Let's not make
No? Okay, I'm going to make... Well, basically, Brian says, in bad weather, which would you pick, a catamaran or a boat? I think if we had to choose a catamaran, it would have to have dagger boards, because we'd have to be able to pull them up to sort of slide off the waves. I think, really, never say never, I don't think we'll be doing any more ocean crossings in Ruby Rose. I think that this boat is an amazing boat. It is... We bought this boat to cruise cruise Europe and to cruise the Caribbean, and for that she was bloody perfect. But as with all sailors, we want to circumnavigate. So I think before we go through Panama, we're going to get a bigger boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something we're definitely.
But that's several years away. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thanks. I polished. We've only been on Long Island for an hour, and I polished the lens. So, woo, thank you, John. Did you paint your logo on the pier in Horta? You know what, Mikhail? We were going to paint our logo. It rained every single day. It was soaked.
Yeah. So no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Absolutely. But yeah. No, look, Southerly's an amazing boat. I think, we love Southerly's. I cannot wait to see what Paul and Cheryl are going to do with that 480 of theirs, and I really want to have a good nose around it. Yeah. So.
I was going to suggest you put Flowers of Bermuda on your playlist. You know that song?
No, okay. Hey, Timothy, what? Give me that advert, the Budweiser. It's Budweiser, isn't it? So no, we didn't get to do the pier thing. What else were we going to talk about? What plans were? What across the? So we talked about the crossing, talked about our plans. We didn't break anything on the boat, which is a lot of things people have been asking. Chris, hello from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do we need to talk about? So tonight we've got the prize giving for the arc, so the rally that we were on. The only prize we could possibly get is for coming last. Thank you, Tammy. That's very kind of you. What else? What else have we got to talk about?
I don't know.
Technical Tuesday. Some people ask about Technical Tuesday. If you have ideas for Technical Tuesday, let me know. So that's good.
You can contact us via Facebook. We have a Facebook page. The link should be down below if you're watching this after the fact. If you're not watching this after the fact, you can just Google Ruby Rose, selling Ruby Rose.
Selling Ruby Rose. Paul Busby says, do we expect any language issues with the Med? No. I can speak Italian, I can speak French, and I can probably get by in Spanish.
And everyone speaks
Everyone
English.
Speaks English.
Well, not everyone, that's not true, but enough people speak English. Or you just smile and point and you just...
Little Man Showdown is back on it. Scroungers you are. How are we scroungers?
What's a
Scrounger is someone that... Moocher, I think. Someone that takes...
Lives off other people.
Showdown, listen, your limited intelligence. I don't even know why I'm entertaining this with you, but seriously, it's like a cat playing with a disabled mouse, right?
I think maybe...
No, I'm going to answer...
I think the Showdown should detail why he thinks that you're scroungers.
We don't do Patreon. We don't ask for any money for anything. We're one of the only YouTube channels that don't do Patreon. We don't ask for anything. Stop poking me. Oh, I'm going to get into trouble now.
Will you be sailing back to the UK or staying in the Med? Don't know. Probably in the Med for the moment. We don't have any plans to go back to the UK. So unless for some reason those plans change, we'll be in the Med.
Aboard Eon asked passage video. You're probably going to get 8 to 10 passage videos. We've got a lot of them. We just started editing today. Rob Manning says the most used knots will be called for Technical Tuesday. Whoops. Bowling, granny, double granny. I can do a half hitch sometimes. You're going to get not one.
You can do a monkey's fist.
I can do a monkey's fist.
You've never actually needed a monkey's fist knot, but...
Yeah.
You don't need any says your ears are being up. Oh, I'm saying that there's no for Showdown.
Oh, he's obviously a little mega. Listen, Showdown, listen.
I feel like I need to hug.
Yeah, leave your mum's basement, mate, and go out and see some sunshine. It'd be good for you. It'd be good for you. Be a nicer human being rather than the twat that you quite clearly are.
We could always block him.
We will block him.
But he's amusing me for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Frank, silly question. Can you do a movie on how to dock med style? As it's always looked weird to me. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
It is weird. It's kind of.
Slime lines, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where if you haven't done it before and you don't really know what it involves, then it can be really intimidating. We haven't had to do more med style for ages. If we get to the point where we do, then we'll film it and we'll show it.
Okay, Showdown's left. Anyway, I like trolls. They you know. I think I was watching a Casey Neistat video the other day, and it just said, if you want to be on YouTube, you have to have a really thick skin. It's true. So yeah, Technical Tuesday.
Thank you, Grant, by the way. Did we thank Grant?
We didn't thank Grant. Thank you,
Thank
Grant.
you, Grant.
That's very kind of you.
Okay, a good question. Is 38 foot too small for regular crossings? I would say no, it's not too small for regular crossings. It just depends on your tolerance for offshore crossing. We prefer to keep those types of crossings as short as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And therefore, for us, a bigger boat will be necessary so we can go faster. If you're quite happy being out there for another few days, then yep, 38 feet is totally doable.
Yeah, so no, it's true. I mean, as I said, 38 feet, you know, sub 40 foot boats, especially if you're in the Med, and it's the same in the UK, there is a demarcation at 12 metres. Once you get over 12 metres, especially in Greece, your fees go up a lot more. It doesn't just because you're over 12 metres, there's like, you know, you pay like 30% more. And if you look, I don't know what it is, but if you're going to cruise Greece, once your boat is over 12 metres, your fees go up considerably. So we have a boat which on paper is 38 foot, and so we get under the 12 metre mark, but she's got, literally, last night we did a pontoon party, so we ended up going to see
it's actually a really good idea. Because quite a few of us were like, oh, I want to see your boat. Oh, I'd like to come on board and have a little look at your boat. So a few of very well organised people on this rally were like, the participants, by the way, not the organisers, were like, well, we should just do like a big pontoon party. Everyone opens their boats up and we just like have a look around everyone's boats. And I was like, that is genius. So we got to look around quite a few boats last night, which was loads of fun.
And in all fairness, our internal space and our cockpit space is about on par with a 50-foot boat.
Yeah.
This boat is huge for 38 feet,
Yeah.
so that's good. So,
Stuart says, how are you at backing it in med style? Nick is awesome on
Yeah.
the helm. He's really, you're like, yeah, I am.
no, bow thruster. People are scared of reversing boats. You just go out somewhere, open water, and try practicing, you know, reversing up to a buoy. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Grant says, do you feel physically weaker or a loss of fitness after long passage? Well, Shiner messaged me today, he lost half a stone, so that's 7 kilos.
You lose muscle mass.
Thank you. Who the hell was giving
So
us
if
that?
you go for,
Gnumi. Thank you so much. Dinner on me. Woo.
oh, bless, that's lovely.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. That's insanely generous.
Yeah.
Thank you. What was that? Oh, yeah. So I mean, I think like if you get in and then like that day or the next day you go for a big long walk. Like for me, that's when I notice like when I'm walking a lot and I'm like, oh god, like my legs are sore.
And I can't lift my 7th beer because I'm too weak.
But you get it back really quickly.
Marco T50 says, would you visit a North African country while in the Med?
Definitely. We want to go to Tunisia.
We're going to Tunisia, and I know it's not strictly the Med. We spent a month in Morocco sailing.
Yeah.
It's bloody awesome.
Well, Morocco's North Africa.
It's not the Med, is it though?
No, it's not the Med. No, and we probably won't visit Mediterranean Morocco because it's not very cruiser friendly. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do that again. But yeah, Tunisia is definitely on our list, but no other North African country that I can think of because they're not really. It's not really safe.
Yeah. So Showdown's still here. Bloody hell! He said goodbye 10 minutes ago, and he's still.
Maybe we should just
No, I like him. I want to give Showdown a hug as well. Tom O'Connor has the lifting kill being a big advantage, a massive, massive advantage.
Depending on where we are.
But in the Bahamas, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It really does depend on where
So
you are.
Wally, this is the thing that Wally says, how much experience do you recommend for doing a first ocean crossing? We did our first crossing with the World Cruising Club, and we did the second one with the World Cruising Club. They have a requirement that you've done a 500-mile qualifying passage, and I tend to think that's good advice. I think you have to, if you've done 500 miles, which essentially is 3 days, 3 nights, you're in good. You're in good.
Step.
And the arc that goes from Europe to the Caribbean, there's so many lectures. They give you lectures after lectures on provisioning, on checking your rig, on loads of things. And it's been essentially day sailors before we did the first crossing. We've done, half a dozen night sails, maybe 10 night sails?
No, if we're lucky.
Yeah, so we were day sailors. And really, people are so scared of night sailing. And I suppose the thing is that, look, I remember, I kind of remember all my fears as I was going into to starting these kind of long passages. And so my experience has always been like the shipping lanes in the English Channel, and then around the French coast, where everything's, you think, oh, night sailing will be looking, there'll be boats everywhere. When we did the crossing over to St. Lucia, I think in 3 weeks we saw 7 boats. And when we did the crossing back, we probably saw 10 boats.
Yeah.
You don't see anyone. There's nothing out there. If the weather's bad or it's foggy, you get your radar on. Most boats have AIS now. All the cargo ships have AIS, and we have absolutely no problem in calling up cargo ships on 16 or DSC radio, messaging them and saying, "Look, can you see us?" And they'll go, "Yeah." So it's not as difficult as you think it is. And once you've got through the first 3 days, you're in a routine, and you just get on with it. Thoroughly recommend it. Life affirming, would you say?
Absolutely. Very satisfying.
Mark says, can you sail year round in the Med? Not really. It's kind of October through March. It's wet and rainy.
Apparently. We've not tried it ourselves, but according to our research.
Gavin Pearson says, hey, would you fancy coming back to the UK next March to do a talk at the Medway and Swale Boating Association conference? We're swale sailors ourselves. Yeah,
he says as next.
Oh, yeah. If we're about, let us know. Although...
Send us a message on Facebook.
Yeah. So Dimitar, he's not okay. So a little shifty.
You guys did a west to east crossing, yep?
Yeah, east to west and west to east.
Yeah, we've done both.
Okay, so it's a little shifty alpine loop.
Ever run across any of the other YouTubers says in the woods? I feel like we have. Yes, we ran into Tula's and the Summit in
They're
Bahamas.
bloody awesome. Tula
They
are
were
fantastic.
fun.
Yeah.
We know a lot of YouTubers like via social media, like
Matt, Jessica.
Yeah, we kind of chat to quite a few.
And I want to go drinking with Delos.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want to go drinking with Delos?
Mormons.
Maybe. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure. I think I'm going blank. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
So Jeremiah says, can you describe the difference between sailing the Med and the Caribbean? We've never actually been into the Mediterranean, but we've spent a lot, as in sailing.
That won't stop us from talking about it.
But look, put it this way, the thing about the Caribbean is there is a lot of Atlantic swell. Inter-island passages are bloody uncomfortable if the swell's wrong. There is very little swell or regular swell in the Med. So it tends to be light wind sailing, with then you get these Levantes or like Siroccos coming through and you get a lot of heavy wind. But it's meant to be calmer, and we see a lot of boats in the Med. I'm like, look at that, there's no swell. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Ask us again in in a few months' time.
Marie says, look forward to our Instagram post of the crossing. We're not sure we didn't take that many photographs actually.
Yeah, we're a bit rubbish at photographs these days. I should be able to rummage up some stills.
Yeah, we will do.
The footage we took there.
Okay. Yeah, I can always get the thing.
Are you? Sorry.
Simon, hello. Sorry, just going to. Okay. Posted a link to your Facebook for $15 stove that runs on diesel. Yeah, we need to get our heater fixed. Or is someone got their own heater? Okay. Shiner lost that because you were feeding him a slice of bread. No, we fed Shiner really well. I think we did. But the thing is, culinary expertise when you're in a lot of swell sometimes has to go.
I think Shiner also has. Normally, he has very, 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 very large
He's a greedy
portion
bastard.
sizes. He has like 3 servings per meal.
Ingy asked, "Are we going to Torrevieja? Are we?"
Where is that? I don't know. I'm sure that's in Spain somewhere. I don't know.
All right.
We shall see.
What does a beer cost in Portugal? €1 or €2, I think, for a beer. So it's $2, $3.
Yeah, like maximum €2.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Any tips for a new sailor?
Okay, so Frankie Turbo. Okay, Frankie says, I have a 20-foot leisure and worry about anchoring on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, firstly, and I'm not trying to push this, I put a video out about anchoring. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It kind of shows you my take on how to anchor to kind of put your mind at rest. Secondly, while I was sailing across the Bahamas, I anchored on my own all the time. It's really not a problem.
But when you first started sailing, you were
Absolutely.
on a
25-foot boat, yeah.
And you were worried.
Of course, you do worry about things.
Yeah.
So basically, all I would say to you is, if you want to try and do things like progressively slowly, go out and anchor for the day. That's what I would say to you. Go out and anchor so that it's daylight, and just sit, fish, read a book. Just go out somewhere calm, and anchor. So that and then after a while you'll be like, oh, the boat didn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Boat didn't move, and then you'll build up to things. I do remember the first time I ever anchored. I was waiting for the bridge to lift, the Kingsferry Bridge actually at Queenborough, and I was absolutely terrified. Christ, I'm anchoring on my own. And then now it seems laughable, but look. Without sounding like the old sailors in the pub that taught to me for years, sailing is a lifelong experience. I said this to Shiner like 3 days ago. I said, you could read about crossing an ocean, you can take all the courses about how to cross an ocean. Until you cross an ocean, you haven't got a clue. So unfortunately, my friend, you've got to just go out and do it. And once you start doing it, firstly you'll realise how easy it is. And secondly, you'll realise that you're doing far more than most sailors are doing. And that should hopefully kind of help you. So good luck, either way.
Yeah.
Quake Boy goes on about, yes. Quake Boy says, some boats, such as my old Morgan Classic, do not reverse well. Yeah, long keelers, I think probably a Morgan's with a semi-long keeler. Yeah, they don't reverse well. Semi-long keelers don't, but we do. Gavin says, I went drinking with D-Loss last weekend. Did you really?
Did you guys ever meet up with Sailing Doodles? No, we never crossed paths with them.
No, although we kind of, I know she's not with them now, but we kind of like messaged Megan a bit. So,
Marie says, when do you officially enter the Med? I think probably not until, we're on the Algarve at the moment, we probably won't enter the Med until probably August. It's June. I know that's a long way away, but yeah, we're kind of...
So Razorblade says, some crazy men do crossing in 22-foot boats, some crazy French men do crossing in 22-foot boats. We saw one come in yesterday. It was about 22-foot, home-built steel, canary yellow, and we're like, Christ, he's just come across the Atlantic in that. Steve asks, are we going to Turkey? Not sure.
Where would you do your transit log? I don't understand the question.
No, where would we go from to?
Yeah.
Bob says, would you consider crossing on a 43-foot Beneteau Cyclades? Yes, I would. Yeah, of course I would. As I said, it depends which way you're doing. Look, if you're crossing east to west, it's easy, it's just downwind sailing. You do it at the right time of year, something like the Arc. If you're going west to east, do take the southern route across. Don't take the northern one. We've got some friends who did it in Genoa.
Oh yeah,
they did the northern route in a Genoa, and they took a shoeing because it's such a light boat.
Yeah, but they made it. Like, it was uncomfortable,
Yeah,
but they.
No, of course it was fine. Yeah, absolutely no problem. Anyway, I think we're going to probably finish up in the next 10, 15 minutes. So ask your last questions, and we will have a video out for you for Friday. As I keep trying to say, Technical Tuesday will return. I've got so much editing to do, but we're going to do one on self-steer versus autopilots, and another few. They're going to come out. We've done, I think, about 8 now, so we'll probably just do a few more this season and start doing next season when people get ideas for us. Is that okay? What else? Any other questions before we head off to go and have a lovely cold beer?
No.
No.
Silence.
You talk the bloody leg off the chair. Bob, did we consider stopping in the Azores?
We did stop in the Azores.
And we would have stayed there longer, but we had to.
We're on a bit of a schedule.
Yeah. So, no one's got any questions. Anyway, we will be... Look, one thing we do have now is, or we will have, is
well, Sunday brunch return. Yes. Again, we just need to.
Yeah, we've got a backlog of stuff to do.
Yeah.
We'll try and get.
If you have anything that you want us to show on Sunday brunch, then
so we're going to start doing it all. And again, just for those of you, can you please like this, like and thumbs up stuff, just to kind of get the channel ticking along a little bit. So yeah, so we're back. We'll be back regularly. As I said to all of you, the good thing about this is that I know normally, this is that we're in the middle of June. Normally our season would finish now because we've last couple days we've been in hurricane season. We're in a European season now, so we've got another 3 or 4 months of sailing ahead. So I'm really looking forward to kind of showing you that. And because we have so many amazing American sailors, all kind of from the contiguous USA and Canadians, we're going to start inspiring you to come over here by showing you different ports and areas and historic sites, as well as just the sailing stuff. So hopefully we can inspire you to kind of get yourselves across to this part of the world and come here.
And thank you, Dexter.
Yeah, thanks, Dexter. That's very nice of you.
Appreciate it. Lovely.
So, should we say goodbye?
Yeah, I think that we've come to the natural end of our chat today. Thanks all for kind of joining us. We really appreciate the questions and the comments and the conversation. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, we'll do another live session in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, we will do.
And in the meantime, we'll have more videos up for you this week.
Soon. Yeah, and so it's just the last few questions coming in a little bit. Nick says, "Are we going to travel back to the US?" Of course, we love the US. Anyway, I think upon that fine note, we have an afternoon to go and sort ourselves out. And so enjoy yourselves. Thank you all so much for being amazing. We'll have some news up about those koozie holders soon. Yeah. And goodbye all. You're all fantastic. Every one of you. Even who's that? Showdown. Even Showdown. Even Showdown.